this is where you import the image. So I go to the user, and I go to my download, and then I go to my so that's where you import your image from. So I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, because the words are so tiny. Okay, so Florida building that collapsed, and and also my Google Earth Studio, I was able to use it. So I named the folder because I screen record the frame, whatever. And then here we go. I find it, and I just drag this into the composition. And I got the so that's good. Okay, last night, because I was wondering how I'm gonna do the auto track. So this is what I do. I right click my mouse, and then now I can start tracking the footages by pressing the this button right here, auto track. Boom, track for me. So let's see what kind of result that we are getting, because I was having trouble last night. So okay, all right. Doing back and forth. See what's going on next. Cool. And now I got a tracking. I think now what I need is the camera solve. I'll click camera solve. I think it's camera solve here. I think this will solve the turn. I think we'll turn those point dots into the kind of like buju. All right. So it's here. It says solve the tracker. Solve all. Just click solve all, and see what happens. Okay. Cool. Now to use the orient the same. So that way you have the distance in the center. So I think it orient the same. It's right here. All right. I think now since it's orient the same, I can use this is very important here. There's a other mode that you can play around with it. So I'll just click location first. Actually, I want to use the translation first. See. Usually I will use scale to make it smaller. This is a cool thing that I learned. So for example, you see a point right here, right? You click this point, click the point, and then you can hit the origin, and then the will move to that part. And now I just have to see. Okay, so they move over there. So what's going on? Okay, now I can click it. I just have to go back to the now, and then that's the origin. Now that's perfect because the 坐标 right now is here. Now I can scale them a little bit, more small. Now you see they're kind of like stay with the point, and then let's see. You can click the here, so you will see the this area. Yeah, so I think it now mean a good area. Stations. And then, you just have to do your best to match the. And now I think it's a lot more very accurate. Use this to measure, to view test object by clicking the test object. I will import a different one, maybe this one. Okay, so this is the model that I built. Okay, scale model, rotation. Cancel this, and then kind of replace here. Okay, cool. Now you guys can see that copy paste the building on the Google. I think this is the first step. For now, this is this. Okay, now it looks a lot more accurate. Now export. God bless. We will make this work because last time it didn't work. Okay, so use the Autodesk FBX 2010 and then export it. Make sure you go back and click the export sync. And then I got this test. I named this test/2. What I did was I dragged it into this. I didn't touch anything here, and I just click OK. And then boom, here we go. Now it's the camera, and then the dots, and then all the tracking points. Perfect. You go to C4D, and then I think right here, and then this button right here, and boom. And then click this button. Ooh, yes, awesome. Okay, now we go to the map. I think this is the let's see, background. Yes, the background. You do something with the background. I forgot. Okay, let's go back. That's I just haven't used C4D in a long time. I just moved into C4D 17, and there's some new change. Basically, okay, so after I drop the texture to the color, right? This is where you image sequence, right? And then image in the project path. Usually I just click no. I don't care. Anyway, then you click here, and then usually that's where animation. Here it is, and then Usually I click calculate it, so that way it knows that there's a image sequence in this shader. Before, long time ago, I was able to just to scroll the timeline and then the background is moving. But this time it's not moving, and then I figured out why. You have to click the edit button right here. This is something that I never know before, and then you click the animate preview. Boom. Now when you scroll your it's moving with the image sequence. Boom, booyah.
Whip his ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is something that I want to share with you guys. Actually, I think I learned this a long time ago. I just because I haven't used 3D Max for a really long time, and I was using like matte shadow in 3D Max forever to do my project, and then just keep using it, and that's that's how you begin. So now in C4D, I just found out that matte shadow you can do something like this. Basically, you create a plane, you shrink it, make sure plane it's where it's like it's in the right place, and then what you do is you drag the material, the background material to the plane, and then what you do is something very important here. You see the tag. What you have to do is you have to change the UV mapping to frontal, and then boom, now it looks like this. So now I turn down my ambient occlusions, so you can see it kind of looks like this. But because of you see there's a like layer, shadow, whatever, because you didn't you have to the second step is to use the compositing, and then compositing you have to click the compositing background. It's very different than 3D Max. I just completely learned this as a beginner. Completely relearn this starting from the scratch. Now if you look at the render, boom, so gone. I think it becomes transparent in this render. This is what is result got, which is pretty good. So yeah, this is something that I want to show you guys. Difference between the one that used without the matte shadow. This is the one without matte shadow. There's no plane underneath of the building, and this is what I use as a matte shadow because there's a plane that's invisible and transparent, and then you can see the shadow that just bouncing back to each other. I use the compositing to render without the background. So yeah, this is something that I want to show you guys so that you can view the differences. Yeah, I'm not sure if I can render just the alpha layer, multi-pass layer to After Effects. This is what you have to do. Everything looks fine, looks like this. But what you have to do is you have to isolate the layer, which is you have to get rid of this layer, and then you have to turn off the background. This is the background. Yeah, so now it looks like it's so no background. Background is alpha channel, and then what you're doing is you kind of have a set up your ambient occlusion layer, shadow layers, object buffer. Object buffer is something here. So basically, this is your main object, and then you tag. And then click the object buffer here, and then set this object as 1. So after you set up your object buffer, have your object buffer. There you go. And then this is what you get it. And now I think you're set. Now you just go to your save, and then make sure your multi-pass layer. Make sure the composite layer is not because you can do this manually. Make sure it's not the multi-layer file. And also make sure your main file are alpha channel. Save all the locations where it is, and then same locations. And then pretty much you just hit the render. You will get this layer, ambient occlusion layer, shadow, object buffer, and then this is the main layer. Also the background. And then after you get those, you can start going to the next part with compositing. Make sure that when you render the multi-pass layer, keep a multi-pass layer JPEG, because JPEG has a really look at the because if you render if you use PSD, look, it's a way too big. So yeah, so also TIFF is also very big too. Make sure when you render the main layer with alpha channel, make sure you're using PNG, because look at all the PNG that I export, it's less than megabyte. So yeah, so that's something that I want to share with you guys. And then it's about compositing, buffer, object buffer, also shadow. So you have you get the background layer. First of all, it's background layer you have, and then second of all are the layer, and then the most important is the object buffer. I'm never using object buffer. I did, but I just forgot. Probably like 10 years ago. Never knew what it is, and now I'm recording this, and now I know what it is. The silhouette layer to isolate the main object. and then you got the shadow. This is not the shadow, but it's a ambient occlusion layer. It has a shadow. Now you just have to turn it to After Effects. This is the result that I've been getting, which is, so I'm gonna just start over again. So I want to show you guys. So first of all, you start comp, and then and this is all the first of all, you bring the background layer, which is the background layer, and then you bring the 3D models and the plane that you did, and then you put a object buffer on top. Use the track map to use the Elma track map, and then now you have the 3D model that's isolated, and then that's when you need the ambient occlusions. You just put this behind of it. Now you have to turn this mode into multiply. Now you got this shadow and the background, and boom. You can change the shadow color. The shadow looks kind of blue, and this is before and this is after. So if you need to turn the building and duplicate it, then use change the mode into multiply. There you go. Then you got your CNN. There it is.